Hi,
Hi, Courtney. How are you?
I'm good. I had a couple of different I hope everybody's on the right Zoom link just because I don't see DC Water here yet.
Well, yeah, I came on through the link that Marlene has in her Forest Hill Connections article.
Resident
So,
neighborhood. Should I ask resident neighborhood to see who they are?
hmm, that's kind of interesting.
Resident
Yeah,
neighbor
you ought to.
resident neighborhood. I know.
And they're connecting to audio. That's kind of strange.
Resident resident neighborhood.
But thank you very much for cleaning up
Oh, sure. I
the.
just want to make sure that one that people have seen is the right one. I should have looked at it more carefully to begin with. And I'm just gonna go grab um the printout of the meeting agenda. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Just thought the mic wasn't working. Thank you. I couldn't hear. Who was that? I'm Jill West. I'm at the Anchor Construction Corporation. I'll be joining with Peter Genevieve. I think your audio is garbled. Maybe you have it on two different devices.
Haven't seen, yeah, very rough draft.
Hi, I'm David Bardeen. I'm listening into this. I'm a former member and a former chairman of this ANC, and I was for about 10 years a member of the board of directors of DC Water. And I used to know a lot. I'm 91 now, and I don't remember as much as I used to know about this project and this 45-foot deep manhole and these various issues, but I'm going to try to listen and learn. And I've had the privilege of talking earlier today with the project manager for DDOT. I don't see that he's on the agenda, and I don't see anybody from the Park Service, National Park Service, on the agenda.
Um, well, there's definitely someone from DC Water who will be talking.
Mr.
You're
Briggs.
correct that we didn't invite anyone from National Park Service because this project right at this point is squarely in the area of DC.
Well, maybe I don't, Commissioner Bear, I don't doubt that you're right, but I have the impression that DC Water is being compelled or required by the National Park Service to do some things which it might not conclude were needed or necessary or helpful or what have you. And if that's the case, it's making the project much bigger, more impactful on the people who are at or near Albemarle Street. And so I'm curious about that.
Well, I'd be very happy to talk to you about these questions that you have with regard to the Park Service interaction at some point, David.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, David, for being here. We're so grateful to have your expertise and your long knowledge of this area and this ANC.
Well, yeah, that's a very generous statement, but keep in mind at the age of 91, and having been working on all kinds of other things on totally unrelated to Soapstone or DC Water or the neighborhood or Hartwell, well, maybe I'm not sure that I'm had that big a contribution to make.
Well, we're glad you're here, regardless. So thank you for being here. Since it is 7:02, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. I see we have a quorum of commissioners. It looks like all commissioners are present. I'm trying to spotlight everyone. Excuse me. So I'm calling the meeting to the order. This is a special meeting of ANC3F regarding the closure of Albemarle Street, the completion of the Soapstone Valley Sewer Repair and Rehabilitation Project, and the DDOT permit application, which requires the 3F conditional approval for the work that will be done to close Albemarle. The issue is the manhole at Albemarle and 32nd Street is being enlarged per OSHA regulations so that it can be accessed safely by the contractors of DC Water who are doing the work. DDOT and DC Water are requesting the approval of both Councilmember Furman's office and ANC3F for the work, and notifying the community about how the work is going to be done, how it will be, how the work will be monitored, and how the residents will be impacted. And I hope I have said that clearly enough in a nutshell. And I will turn it over to Jarrell. Jarrell, are you going to begin?
Hey, good evening. Peter will be doing the presentation. I'll be sharing.
Oh, sorry, Peter. Sorry, Drew. I'll
Good
spotlight
evening.
you, Peter.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm just Drew. If you can just go to the map. Good evening, everybody. My name is Peter Chinubu. I'm the project manager for Soapstone. We've almost completed everything inside the park in terms of the CIPP. The only lining work that is left is shot number 10 from Albemarle. Gero is pointing. It's about 320 feet. It's very difficult. It's the most difficult part of the work, of the lining work. It drops about 45 feet. That's why we're having a lot of issue with it. So we kind of met with National Park Service. We have three options. We can use steam, which is a non-starter for DOE. We can do a pipe busting. National Park Service doesn't want that because it's going to require for us to dig, put an access pit inside the park. So the only option that we are left with was the UV option. And the problem that we run into is that manhole, Jerome, if you can just go to the next slide. Okay. Is this manhole right there at the intersection of 32nd and Albemarle? We have, as you can see, there's 4 pipes going inside that manhole. There's 18-inch coming from Connecticut. It's in good shape. We don't have to do nothing with that pipe. There's a pipe going back inside the park. Gerald, if you can just point. Okay. It's about 325 feet. It's in bad shape. It's cracking. National Park Service is afraid that it can break anytime. So, and it will spill sewer into the park. So that's the most critical idea. Then we discover a pipe coming from the apartment, 10-inch, coming from it's a legal tap, but we will take ownership of it and upgrade it. This pipe is kind of hanging up. You will see the photo in the next slide. It's hanging. It's not straight. If we don't straighten it up, eventually it's going to undermine Albemarle. So we need to fix that pipe. So we have two critical pipes that we need to fix. That pipe and the pipe going into the park. If you can go to the next slide. So our problem is this is a system that we have. It was installed in 1908. As you can see, it's only 12-inch. You can't put equipment inside it, or you can't lower somebody into it. It's not OSHA compliant. So DC water, although it's going to cost us a lot of money, we're going to have to replace that manhole for two reasons. One, to finish lining the work, and the second, to maintain that manhole, our operation to maintain the manhole for the future. And to your right is the 10-inch pipe that came from the apartment that I was talking about. You can see all the bricks are loose. We need to go in there and fix it before it becomes a problem. The other thing that we discover, working with the apartment engineer, is that the manhole that it came from is always flooded. It's right in front of the garage. It's always back up. So for this project, we're going to help them out and clean it up. And the flooding issue, once we finish this project, we eliminate it. Gerald, the next one. There's a lot of confusion about this picture. This is what we call shoring. It's a liner plate. For us to take out those bricks, we're going to need to install this shoring. It's an OSHA requirement. We need to install this shoring so that the workers can walk safely. Because it's a 45 feet deep. They will install it plate by plate as they go down. So that's critical. This shoring is about 16 feet. That's why we need to close that segment from Connecticut to 32nd Street, because it's going to cover the whole street. We need that shoring to take out the existing manhole and rebuild it back up. So, Jerome. Can you go back one more time? The most critical one that we need, that did us asking us to come back to you and get your blessing, is that the manhole brick, we can't take it out by equipment. We have to, the contractor gonna need to take it out brick by brick. So they're gonna put 2 crews working 24/7. We know we've been there for 2 years. We don't need to spend another 6-7 months to take the bricks out. So they calculated it that they need 2 crews to work 24/7 for 2 weeks to complete the demolition of the existing manhole. That is the one that we actually need your blessing with, the 24/7 work, taking out the bricks. Once we finish taking out the brick, we will start from the bottom, building it back up. And that's going to take another 6 weeks to complete. So that's the work of the manhole. Gerald. This is on your right is a plan of the new manhole. It's going to be an 8-foot diameter manhole. It's going to have landing, safe landing, because it's a 45 feet. This manhole is built to OSHA standard. Our crew that goes in will be protected. There's a landing platform, 2 landing platforms inside the manhole. So the manhole going to be built to today's safety standard. But when we finish, you won't even know the difference because the top is still going to be the same. This is the traffic control plan that DDOT have. If you can see the blue line that you see, Anchor is going to put they're going to put a fence around the construction area with cotton so that people can put their hand inside those fence. It's going to be, fence off. If you can, on the Connecticut Avenue, the sign will start from Yuma, in Connecticut. Sign will start telling people what is going on. That detour, the sign for detour will show from Yuma. We do know there's 4 businesses. We've already talked to them. Our outreach folks already talked to them. We constantly in engagement with them for their, it's 11 cars for the employee that parked at the back. We're working with them to find a solution. Now, one of the things that they need from us is their garbage pickup. The Italian restaurant said they need the garbage pickup comes twice a week. Our contractor is talking with their safety folks. We will accommodate them whatever they need, for the pickup, and we're trying to find a solution for the parking. We already started. Oh, can you go back? I just want to show Avalon. They will be the one that's going to be mostly impacted, that complex. Our outreach people are already talking to them because they will be right there, especially when we're doing 24/7 work at night, the light. We're going to engage with them to make sure, we accommodate their needs, what they need. The other issue that we may have is that we're going to put a bypass pump from Connecticut Avenue. We're going to run it all the way to just a little bit past 32nd Street. The pumps is going to be stacked up inside the fence. It's the same pump that we use on Audubon Terrace. We didn't get any complaint on Audubon Terrace, but if there's any complaint, we already have a backup plan to mitigate the noise. So we don't see issue with that. There's going to be an issue with noise. So we are in discussion with the contractor. So that is that for the noise issue. Gerald, next slide. The outreach folks are already, I think, they already engaged with all impacted customers. They will email them. We will actually go door to door. We'll make sure before we start, proper notifications are given. So that's about the presentation that we have.
Okay, I have several questions, if I may start. What about water shutoffs for the businesses? This is reflecting a question in the chat from Van Ness Main Street. Will there be water shutoffs to the Avalon, to the Connecticut Avenue businesses, any other surrounding areas?
No water shutoff. That's why we are doing
no water shutoff.
No water shutoff.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. That's great news for the businesses. The bypass pump, will that be running 24/7?
Yeah, for the first 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be running 24/7. Why the
and
well,
when,
I'm sorry.
and can you tell us? So that's the same pump that operated on Audubon Terrace with no and you said there were no complaints about the noise, but that wasn't a 24/7 operation on Audubon Terrace, right?
You are correct.
So it's possible that the tolerance could be different based on the hours of operation of that pump in that area.
You are correct. But we do have mitigation. We already, one thing that the contractor indicated to us is that there's a what they call a blanket. They put a blanket, they enclose those pumps and put a blanket around it. That muffle the noise if it becomes an issue. Then the other thing that we can do is put a muffler on the exhaust of the pumps if it becomes an issue. So we already did that in Clean Rivers. This is what I kind of we're familiar with how to mitigate noise. So if that becomes an issue, I think we are on top of it.
Okay, and the I'll go to the questions in just one second. On your presentation, it says May 1 to June 30th. Obviously, those dates need to be updated. I think when we spoke last, you had said that you would be ready to start as soon as you gained approval. Can you tell me what the timeline would be from the moment of approval to when you would start?
Yeah, per DDOT requirement, we need 72 hours to notify people that we're going to be impacted. So at least we're going to give you 72 hours at minimum. But if you need more than that, let us know.
And you had said the timeline bakes in on your presentation, you said it's weather dependent, but you had told us when we met previously that the timeline that you were providing of 2 weeks, 24/7 was the weather was baked into that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it's more than you would need so that if there are episodes of rain, you should still be able to be done within 2 weeks.
Yeah,
correct?
we are hoping to finish before 2 weeks. Okay. So weather is kind of built into that. That's the worst.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Hewitt, Terry?
Thank you,
Terry,
Madam
you had
Chair.
your hand up. Yeah.
I did. I had just taken it down, but thank you. Thank you so much for this presentation. When this construction started about 2.5 years ago, is that about right?
That's about right. Yeah,
okay. Because I remember when it first started, there was a pump. So I'm one of those people. I live right there on 32nd and Albemarle, and can hear all that stuff. And what I will say thank you is, and my neighbors also, there was a pump that did make a lot of noise 24/7. And when we made, we submitted a request for some appeasement to that noise, whatever you did was successful in suppressing that noise. So it's good to hear that you have a backup plan to this newer version of a pump. It's much appreciated. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Sorry, and then I'll get to you, Josh. Okay, Josh Savage.
Hey, Peter, I promise pretty straightforward tonight. Similarly on the noise, a suggestion. You said you had those alternative measures to suppress the noise if it became an issue. Unless there's a cost or another factor at play that I'm not aware of, is there any reason not to just put those mitigation measures in place from the start? That's question one. And the second question is, since it is going to be 24 hours, should we be expecting, in addition to the pump noise, construction type noise, say between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., jackhammers, demolition, and heavy machinery doing that kind of work? Or is it all going to be, it sounds like from what you said, it'll mostly be handwork, removing it brick by brick, so perhaps actual construction noise won't be that disruptive in the overnight hours.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah, how you doing, Josh? Yeah, this work is going to be two phases. The first phase is taking out the existing manhole, actually taking out the bricks. That's going to be labor, hand. We can use equipment for that. It's going to be two crews, taking those bricks out. So the only issue that I see is the light for the apartment complex opposite. And I don't even think it's going to affect you, George, because of all those trees. But that's the only issue that I see. We are working with the contractor to see whether they can get a light that just focus on that manhole. So the contractor is working on that. We're sensitive to that issue. So
Okay, so we should not expect any disruptive construction generated noise, particularly in overnight hours, if I understand you right. Is that right?
that's correct.
Okay, great.
The second phase, when we actually start building the manhole, we can
Yeah.
only work during the work hours. We won't
Okay.
be working at night. That's when you see the heavy equipment.
Okay. And is there any reason not to put those mitigating noise attenuation controls
Yeah,
in place from the outset?
yes. In fact, the contractor talking to her today, yeah, they being proactive, they will. They putting them on. They're going to enclose them and wrap that blanket around it.
Great. All right. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm so
Gordon?
sorry, Marjorie. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
I was muted. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go ahead,
All right.
Marjorie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Peter, for that presentation. And you and I have talked earlier, and I just want to mention two things. One is that when we spoke, you said that no trees or the tree roots would be affected. Is that correct? I just want to hear you say it again.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. There's no tree or tree impacted activities. Yeah, you are correct.
Okay. All right.
I can
Wonderful.
assure you. Yes.
Thank you. And have you, I'm sure you have, it sounds like you've really done extensive research and try to figure out how to avoid having to do this giant dig. I'm sure it's very, very expensive. Have you looked into robotics? And also, I was wondering about that one pipe that has been worked on years ago from the same manhole, how they seem to have gotten to that pipe without enlarging the manhole. So it's a two-part question.
Okay. Hey, Gerald, can you go back to the map? Yeah, go back to the map. No, this one. Okay, keep going. Keep going. One more.
This map.
Thank you. Yeah, this map.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Marjorie, the only pipe that was done, as far as we know, DC water, is this pipe where Jerois, somebody somebody already lined it when we send the camera in there. Talking to NPS, we were told that Metro several years ago they were doing some experimental inside the park. They were lining, they were lining some segment of the sewer that DC water wasn't aware of. So that line, this line was lined. So we didn't do anything with this line because it's already lined. Gerald, can you go back where it says side 2? Oh, no, yeah. Right there, yes. That segment of line Marjorie was lined too. So we didn't have to line it. So that's the only segment that I know that was lined. There's no other line that based on the recent activities, we actually sent a CCTV in there. There's nothing else that was lined. Everything.
And do you have any idea how they entered that, how they accessed that pipe?
We have no idea. We've been scratching our head. We don't know how that pipe was lined.
Maybe there's a clue there, do you think?
But
A pipe
that
relining ferry.
Marjorie, but that might need to be. We need for the safety and for the for Albemarle not to be compromised, we need that manhole replaced so that we, DC Water, after the lining work, can actually go inside that manhole and maintain it.
Okay.
The way it is now, we can maintain it. We can send somebody in there.
Yeah.
So that's why the upper management make a decision to just replace it. It's costing us a lot of money.
Okay. And I assume the robotics do not give you what you need to do to repair the pipe?
No, it did not.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marjorie. David Barden, quickly, we want to stay on track to get to DDOT next. Former Commissioner Bardeen, David Bardeen. Okay. I'm going to move on because, oh, can you, no, I don't see him. So I'm going to move on to if DC Water move on to the DDOT presentation on the traffic control plan.
Hey, Commissioner Carlson, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I have a question. I was muted. Could I ask my question, Madam Chair?
Sure, quickly, Christian, do you mind just holding
My
for just 1
question
second?
is how long the bypass has to continue? I would think that the bypass has to continue until the entire project is completed. Am I wrong?
Well,
I think it's 2 weeks, right? Is that right, Peter?
Yeah, that's correct. Until we the reason why we need that bypass so that we can fix the 10-inch. So so you're looking, I mean, I said 2 to 3 weeks. That's what we need the bypass for.
Well, what if your project takes 2 to 3 months? Don't you still have to bypass?
We hope not. The entire demolishing the bricks and the mile itself is only 2 months. We don't foresee seeing going past 2 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Christian?
Thanks, Commissioner. Sorry for not being on camera. I had to transfer to my phone. My computer was not working tonight. There might have been a miscommunication. I don't have a presentation for the TCP. I think the MOT plan that DC Water provided would have been what was included in the permit. So I apologize if there was an expectation for a DDOT presentation, but I'm happy to talk about the permit process and how that relates. I imagine, and I'm sure Peter can verify on his end from DC Water, that all permits and applicable documentation needed for public right-of-way usage have been confirmed and approved. And so they can probably talk a little bit more about what the specifics of what they applied for. But I think the MOT that Peter showed in the other slide really kind of shows the detours and all the necessary uses of public space that meet our standards.
Christian, if I might, just actually going back to that previous question, if I know we talked about 2 weeks for this conditional closure, if for some reason the project does go longer than anticipated, how does DDOT work with that? If like we've all agreed to 2 weeks, what does happen if, unforeseen circumstances come and it's just like, some of the other aspects of this project and others where you're just much, much longer than intended? Does DDOT have a stop at some point where they say, no, we have to open this road again? How does any of that work with contractors and with multiple agencies involved?
Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks for that question. So anytime any entity, a utility company like DC Water or Washington Gas uses public space for construction, they have a certain timeline of days that they've applied for that permit to be active. If they end up going beyond that, be due to a delay or a schedule change, they would have to reapply that permit. If that's not done so, our public space inspections team can actually issue a stop work order until all the necessary documents are re-uploaded into the system, and then they can reacquire an extension as needed. And they can do that as many times as they need to, as long as they make the necessary changes to the design of their MOT and any of the traffic control plans as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Baer, Mitch? Muted, just like I was. Sorry.
Excuse me, I apologize. Christian, we have not seen the permit application for this work, and you indicate that the schematic seems to summarize it. I assume that application is at least several pages long and gives a lot of more information. I'm going to ask that Peter, either you send it to us or Christian, you please send that application to us. I think that it's important that the ANC has a copy of it, if you would, please.
Yes, I'm happy to do that, Peter. If it's in your files, I imagine everything went approved and went through our jurisdiction before even getting the work initiated. So if you have that on your file, that's definitely something your agency could do, unless
Yeah, Christian, we just applied for it, and we were asked. They haven't given us a permit yet. They were directing us to get this ANC commissioner's blessing.
okay.
Because we're requesting a night walk before they can issue the permit. That's where we are.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I can go back to our permits team and find that that number. I don't know how specific a public facing document would have. There's a lot of internal stuff that we would have in our system, but I'm happy to share like any screenshots of the process, and then direct Peter to any of the public space permittee contacts that we have if they need to expedite this, which I imagine is the case since you don't have it yet. But I'm sure it's still under review, but I can send that to you.
Yeah. Christian, I will send you the number they gave us, the application number.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. And Commissioner, like I said, I don't have access to my computer at the moment, but first thing tomorrow, I can send you that what I have on the files under that permit number. Some of it should also be publicly accessible via TOPS, which is our permit website. So once that number is punched into the system, it should give you kind of the status of where that permit is before it is approved. And I can walk you through that process if you need to as well.
Okay, thank you, Christian.
You're welcome.
Paul Harrison.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Peter and Christian, for your presentations. So the neighborhood is a rush hour traffic route for people coming from Military to Davenport and Brandywine, and also who could have an alternative to go in Porter and Tilden. I wonder if you guys would consider putting up some variable message boards maybe a week before to tell people that this is going to be happening so that they can avoid the neighborhood before ending up in a big traffic crunch right there.
Yeah, Paul, what we usually do for something like this, we usually send to all the radio stations and TV. We call it traffic advisory. We intend to do that for this.
Is there any way to do one of those variable signboards? I don't know if you guys have those in your inventory.
Well, I can ask Jill.
Because I think if people knew about a week before, it's very easy for them to take alternate routes that don't involve Brandywine.
Okay, I'm going to write this down.
And Peter, on that same note, if I may, Paul, I guess there's a way that you can alert Google Maps and Waze to let them know that there'll be a street closure.
Okay.
I think that ahead of time, I mean, RIP our side streets, but I think that is a helpful tool as well.
Okay, we do.
Christian, do you know about that? Does DDOT ever alert Waze and Google Maps for road closures?
That's a good question. I think for like major highways and interstates, we do, but I'm not sure for local roads or Connecticut Avenue, for example. But we have done in the past those directional boards that Paul mentioned. I do know that we've done that before for various projects. So Peter, you and I can kind of touch base to see if that's something that your agent have, and if that needs to be included in the TCP and the permit. Just let me know and I can make sure that the team is aware of that as well.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think it would be good to use all the available tools to alert traffic. Okay, thank you so much. If there's no other questions for Christian, I'll move on to Commissioner Bear and our resolution. And I can share the resolution on my screen.
Thank you.
Can share the resolution on my screen. Here we go. you guys see this?
Yes, we can. If you just start moving down through the.
Yeah,
and then-
sorry.
Now, the resolution has been posted and has been distributed pretty widely. If people don't have it, I apologize, but I sent it out to about 60 or 70 people myself, and I think that it was also posted. It goes through the history in these whereas statements. What I wanted to do is get down a little bit further, if we can, to right there. Okay, so in the be resolved portion of this resolution, and Peter, I've talked to you and you've seen this particular resolution, so I'm going to just assume that I haven't heard anything from you guys with regard to changes other than a very small couple of them in, I think it was number 7. So I'm assuming that all these conditions will be met, and bring it back if you would to Courtney. Yeah. And so I want for everyone's purposes to read what we have. The first one says that DC Water will have on-site staff whenever operations are in place. And this is pretty important because we have found in the community that there have been times when there have been operations in Soapstone and there have not been DC Water staff there to handle the situation. The notification, the number 2, has been.
Wait, Mitch, can we just have Peter then just speak, like, just affirm each of these? Is that, can we do that at this moment, just so we sort of have an affirmation that these things are acknowledged and part of the plan from DC Water?
Yes.
So Peter, an on-site DC Water staff will oversee all operations?
Yes, we usually have an
Yes,
inspector.
okay.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Okay, the second one is the notification. And Peter, I understand from what you've said in my own contacting of the people on Connecticut Avenue that you've been doing that. The notifications for 14/7 and 24 hours are, I believe, the conditions that we had for any other work that was close into the community. And I also indicated that you should avail yourself of Marlene Berlin's Forest Hills connection as another way on a regular basis to notify people. Is these conditions satisfactory to you, Peter?
Yeah, we can meet those conditions.
Okay, there has been air quality monitoring required for the other shots, and that will continue.
Yeah, that will continue. We do have a University of Texas that monitor it, and we have ACON. They will continue it.
Okay. We're also asking for a schedule to be submitted. You have submitted the schedule as part of the presentation, but what we would also like to see is that if there are changes to the schedule, some major ones, that updates be posted on your website and distributed through your distribution list that you send to the community, please.
Yes, we will. As soon as we get, the reason why we have them that the schedule that you see right now is kind of iffy. The contractor can't do anything right now until we get the permit. And the process to get the permit is to get ANC3F blessing. So as soon as we get the permit, we will update the schedule and update it on our site and send it to our commissioners and all affected customers.
Thank you. Now, the traffic control plan, which is number 5, is the document that I think, Christian, you'll be providing us, or DC Water will provide us, as to a little bit more specifics with regard to what will happen in a more narrative form. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, it will actually be this traffic control plan that we show you. Then there will be a stamp, DDOT stamp on it. Then there will be another form that put the conditions. So
Okay.
they will give us the drawing that we just show you. They will stamp it, and they, there's a form that goes with it. So once we get those, once they approve it, those are the documents that we will have. Then we will share with you as soon as they give it to us.
Okay. Now, number 6 is to update the web page that I know DC Water has for the Soapstone project. And if you can do that on a daily basis, that would be helpful for the community just to see what's happening. Is that also something that you're going to do?
Let me talk to Emmanuel, but I don't think Emmanuel will have any problem doing it. Emmanuel is the one that his office is the one that does the update of the website. So I'm writing the notes down. I will tell Emmanuel.
Okay.
And I don't see any problem what they can update.
I'm here, Peter. That won't be a problem.
Okay.
That won't be a problem, Commissioner Bear.
Number 7 was the one bullet point that you guys had asked me for some modification because I didn't reflect exactly what the plan was, but it's basically the hours of operation that you've already mentioned, 24 hours for 2 weeks.
Yes.
As you do the initial work, and then it'll be 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 p.m. in the evening after you finish that 2-week period. So I think that you've already mentioned that. And the last one, I think that you've also handled, and that Albemarle Street has a parking lot behind the commercial buildings that the stores and the merchants need access to. And you've indicated that they can have parking there and that the garbage trucks can come in on a twice-a-week basis, and the suppliers. And I thank you very much also for trying to find additional parking for some of the staff and management of those commercial establishments there. I already have talked with the people in the barber shop who've mentioned that they've talked to you. So with that, Courtney, I don't have any other questions or anything else that I wanted to handle on the resolution. At any point that you want to bring it before the commissioners.
Why don't we call that for a vote then? I move that we vote on the resolution.
And I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No, so that resolution passes. And we will send a copy of that to you at DC Water. And I would just say that as conditions change, as anything changed, I think one of the most important things in that resolution is to continue to update the stakeholders, and please let people know if there's the surprises, I think, are what make things difficult for people. And a lot of people are going to be surprised because they're not in this meeting and they don't get this information. But for the people who are here and who can spread the word, please allow us to spread the word in a way that helps the project get done efficiently and without as little disruption as we know there will be some disruption. Mitch.
Yeah, at some point, Madam Chairman, I would like you to give the floor to Lauren Lipsey, who is Matt Fruman's staff person on this call, just to allow her to do whatever, have the floor, because DDOT did ask that the council member's office be part of this process and also weigh in on the work that DC Water is proposing to do.
Okay, great. Lauren, I see that you're here. Are you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't have much else to offer. I was kind of sitting back and curious to hear about that traffic control plan, because I know that was a big question coming out of the meeting we had last week. And I'm happy to hear about the outreach that has been done. I am also, more importantly, I think we're happy to see the ANC support for this. And with that, I have no doubt that the council member will be supportive of this work, and look forward to having the project complete.
Thanks, Lauren, for being here and being a part of the conversation. I did want to draw, I'm sorry, just go to the chat really quickly. I know we talked about garbage collection in terms of the businesses on Connecticut, but there is a question about garbage collection for homes on Albemarle. Is DPW being notified of, you know, to alter their routes during this time period? So they don't get surprised and
yeah, we're in the process. Jerome, can you chime in? Yeah, we're in the process of doing that. I think we did it on Audubon Terrace. Jerome, can you?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we'll make sure DPW is aware of the work. We've coordinated with them in the past, and as we approach kind of a start date, we'll be sure that they're fully aware and in the loop.
thank you so much. Commissioner Hewitt?
Thank you so much. I guess to add a little bit of levity to it is, Peter, your comment about the light and being too bright. One of the things about our building that's I really do like is that they pay attention to lighting, and there's a lot of light around the building. As an ANC, I've worked to get light over there. So I think a lot of us will welcome having a light there for a few weeks. So thank you.
Commissioner Bear?
Yeah, I'd like to recognize Gloria Garcia from Van Ness Main Street if she wants to add some words to this conversation as well.
I spoke to her. I think I'm not sure she's still on the call, but she I read her question. I believe she's on travel.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? I just want to open the floor to the community and make sure everyone feels like their concerns were heard. If DC Water again can put your information in the chat, whereby people who aren't our frequent flyers here on the ANC3F call can know how to get in touch if they have any issues.
Yeah,
can you guys do that?
email.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And if there's no objection, then I'm going to move that we adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. And please be in touch with ANC3F, DC Water, should you have any concerns during the process.
Thank you,
I
Madam.
move we adjourned. Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you. Thank you. We're all in favor. I'm sure everyone is in favor of adjourning. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and being willing to come together on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.